All right, what's up, guys? We're outside of Harbor Freight now, about to go in and see what we can get EDC-wise at your local Harbor Freight store. I'm going to compare that to Home Depot and Lowe's and see what the best tool hardware store is to get EDC items at. Thanks for watching. All right, we got a Gerber multi-tool for 40 bucks. A Milwaukee fastback with a built-in driver, $15. Those are awesome. These are pretty cool. Found these in the plier section, almost like mini Nitpicks pliers by Crescent. Also got your fastback knife. This is a button lock. Actually has a tip up or down clip, which I think it's 15 bucks also. And this Coast flashlight was the best one I could find for the money. It's $22, 410 lumens. There was a nice Milwaukee flashlight that it was 500 lumens, but it was 50 bucks. So to me, it was kind of expensive for Home Depot. So I think that's the best you're gonna find. If it were me, I would take the fastback, the Crescent pliers. You have your knife, you have your screwdriver, driver, you have your pliers, and then you have a Coast flashlight. So not a bad deal. So all that would cost you 15, 30, 50 bucks right there. Lowe's has this whole new display of Gerber. So they've got 4 different multi-tools, a bunch of knives, arm bar. It's all under lock and key though. Interesting. Also got work sharpeners here at Lowe's. As far as utility blades go, this is probably the closest thing to a fastback. It doesn't have the bit driver though. They don't have one at all that has a bit driver. They have a bunch of cobalt ones and things of that nature, but some Craftsman. I also have these cobalt knives down here. 25 bucks, 30 bucks. Flashlights are less. You got this one from Lux Pro, 27 bucks. Pretty long though. I don't think I'd EDC that. Next closest thing you got is going to be this cobalt for, it's again pretty big for 100 lumens. So no on that one. They do have Coast, but they don't have that same model that Home Depot had. They have these big ones. Yeah, these just giant, like, I don't know, too many people to EDC that. This one's interesting for 40 bucks, but that's also pretty big. 1200 lumens though. That one you could probably get away with. That's my best option, looks like. So I'd probably go with the either suspension. That's the same one that Home Depot has, but it's like 8 bucks cheaper. Or I kind of really dig this arm bar. It's got a driver, looks like a saw, and a blade on it. But it's 50 bucks, so it ain't cheap. Most of their knives are around 25 to 30 bucks, but they're all 7 CR, which, you know, probably is comparable to the Milwaukee, but they do have a better selection here for sure. They did have these Irwin vice grips. These are a 6-inch though, so these might be a little big. Those other ones were quite a bit smaller. These are 14 bucks versus 10, but might be a good Knipex alternative if you don't want to drop the money. They have this Klein electrician's knife. It's like a flipper. Not bad. I think it was 15 bucks. And these cobalt knives, I just realized are in D2, both of those. So upgraded steel from a lot of the ones we've seen so far. This one's got a partially serrated edge. Looks to be crossbar lock. It's a big old fat boy. And then this guy is a liner lock, 2.4-inch blades, pretty small, thumb studs. Does have a tip-up pocket clip, which is nice. So, and these run about 15 bucks. Correction, 20 bucks, 25, and $29.99 is 30 bucks. All right, so I'm back in the truck from Lowe's and Home Depot. I had to spend almost double at Lowe's because they just didn't have good, like, cheaper options. They had Gerber stuff, which is what I went with for most of it, and the flashlight. So the flashlight was 40 bucks. And that was this guy here, the Coast. It's 1200 lumens, but it's a little, I mean, it's too big for EDC too. I think it's pretty massive, but some guys carry lights that size, so I guess it's not too bad. 1200 lumens, 721 foot beam distance. That's got a lot of candela, it's claiming. We'll see. has 3 different modes. So coast is what you get at Home Depot or Lowe's. That's your best options. For knives, I ended up going with the Gerber Fuse. It was 30 bucks. It was just a lot nicer looking than the other ones, and they were about the same cost. I know that the Cobalt knives had D2. This has 7CR. Obviously, D2's better, but the knives just look like crap. And one was way too small. So for the money, I thought this was 30 bucks, about the same cost, and it just looks a lot nicer. Looks like it has an aluminum handle. It's a nice inlay on there, so it's not a bad little Gerber. This was $29.98. And then there was no smaller plier option. The smallest I could find was a 6-inch. So I ended up having to go with the Gerber multi-tool, exactly the same one that they had at Home Depot. Now this one is the same price, or sorry, it's $8 cheaper right now, $7 cheaper at Lowe's. And this is the suspension NXT, exactly the same one. So they had 2 other multi-tools plus that arm bar, but that thing was like, it was more expensive than this, so it made no sense. I was like, this has more tools. It didn't have pliers and drivers, which this one has some screwdrivers and such. So overall, I think looking at, you know, what I got at both places and what I spent, I mean, I spent $110 at Lowe's. At Home Depot, I spent $66.37 with tax. That's the Home Depot receipt. And here is the Lowe's receipt. Right here. Right there. 110 bucks. So spent $50 more and got the same amount. Technically a better knife. The pliers are debatable, right? Because I don't know how good these little pliers are that I got from Home Depot, these guys, but they're small enough, and they're, you know, similar to a Knipex, you know what I mean, which I already have, but this is about what you can buy there. So I think carrying this instead of a full multi-tool, plus having that fastback for the driver, and then having this as your like knife, like food prep knife. Utility knives don't work good for that, so if you need something like that, you have something like this. Ultimately, like, the choices were better at Lowe's, I'm gonna say that right now, but your value is better at Home Depot. Okay, Harbor Freight has the best knife by far. This has been all over the internet, so YouTube, essentially a Todd Beck copy, but by far the best knife I've seen. 40 bucks. Yeah, those are calipers. Those flashlights, they had this Braun 140 lumen, kind of a larger but decently sized, and then they had this 250 lumen one with a UV light, strip light. Yeah, probably gonna go with that one because it's smaller, a little more EDCable. And then they had a similar box cutter to the Husky button lock. Doesn't have the tool driver on the back though, so but that's all I could find. No multi-tools. The smallest pliers they had, like the Knipex style, were 8-inch, way too big for EDC. So, all right, guys, I just wrapped up at Harbor Freight. I'll show you what I got, how much I spent. So this is by far the best knife I found. It's all over the internet. You guys have seen videos on it. It's literally a copy of a Todd Beck design. I think it's the Glimpse, maybe. But it's a D2 blade steel. It's got carbon fiber handles. I mean, these are pretty renowned ceramic bearings. 40 bucks at Harbor Freight. So by far the best knife so far. Flashlight wise, this Braun 140 lumen and 60 lumen, so it's got 2 modes. It's probably the most EDCable. I can't believe how big these flashlights are though in these stores. It's like what we're used to carrying compared to this stuff is nuts. This was 20 bucks. I got an Icon, or not Icon, Doyle, very similar to the fastback with the button lock, and it has this like cutter here, back here, but does not have the driver, which that's the fastback's way better for that. So this was $10 though. So what, 70 bucks total? Surprisingly, they had no multi-tools at all in the store, and they only had the one. They had some pliers, like some Knipex style pliers, but the smallest one they had was 8 inches, and that's way too big for your pocket carry. So yeah, overall, let's we'll take it back to the tabletop and wrap it up. All right, guys, so synopsis. don't buy your EDC gear at hardware stores. If you can avoid it, go online. There's so many better options. But if you had to, or maybe the internet didn't exist and we had to buy things in stores, no online shopping, your best bet is probably Lowe's, because they have the best selection. They have more mold stills, more knives, more flashlights, whole 9 yards. Home Depot was the best value. Found these Knipex style pliers, which are pretty nice. They're not as good as Knipex, but that's to be expected. The Fastback's awesome. Interesting that Lowe's used to carry Leatherman, now is Gerber also, just like Home Depot. So that was kind of interesting. But Harbor Freight was surprising. This knife is actually pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of flicking it and playing with it all day since I got it, and I actually really like it. So the best knife I got was at Harbor Freight, but overall Harbor Freight didn't have a lot. They had just a knife and a flashlight, honestly. But you know, again, the whole idea of this was just to kind of have some fun. And I know Taylor Martin did this 2 years ago, I think, on his channel on Best in EDC, and things have changed a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty similar. Not a lot has changed, so not the best place to buy your EDC gear, especially flashlights, man. They're just so bad compared to what you can get online on Amazon, or even, you know, any reputable dealer is going to carry a decent flashlight. So definitely that is. And knives, speaking the same way too, you can get a really nice budget knife, you know, on Amazon for $50, like a Civivi, or, you know, something like that. That's a good deal. That's a lot better than most of these knives are going to be. Better quality, better steels, better fit and finish. This one's pretty surprising how good it is for being a Harbor Freight knife. But just the overall thing is, don't buy your shit at your EDC stuff at hardware stores. But anyway, guys, Lowe's had the best selection. Home Depot had the best value. Harbor Freight had the best knife. There you go. It's kind of a fun little video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.